Yes, please.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Good evening, Prof. Aman, Dr. Firdaus, Pak Eka and Joe, and IPMI faculty and everyone. We are so happy to have you here. Welcome to the MBA sharing session with our topic, Managing Financial Risk in Business During COVID-19. My name is Sita Tiasutami. I'm your moderator for tonight, and I'm an MBA candidate as well at IPMI International Business School, and currently working as an independent performing arts manager, as well as working for Indonesian Dance Festival. So before we start, let me read out the webinar etiquette. Mas Kur, can you help share the etiquettes?
Hello Sita, can you see this?
Kebaca. It's all blurry. I can't. It's not.
Still blur. It's still blur.
This one, can you see this?
Yes.
It's
Okay.
quite better.
Yeah. So we kindly request that everyone follow the social etiquette for everyone's benefit. This session is recorded and your audio will be muted. Please do not post or write offensive or insensitive content throughout the webinar, and violators will be removed. And if you have a question, please submit in the chat box, and on the playing of Indonesia Raya, kindly sit in an upright position. And at the photo session at the end of the program, kindly turn on your video. So may I have everyone to kindly sit in an upright position for the national anthem, please? Okay, thank you, Maskur. So risk management for a lot of people sounds like a hard science where only top level executives need to understand it. But as the recent pandemic has shown, it's also important for small business owners to prepare for unexpected risks and challenges. Small businesses need to get better grasp of financial risk management to navigate the current market, uncertainty, and prepare for the post-pandemic future. So tonight, IPMI MBA alumni and faculty are joining forces in the sharing session to share valuable tips to handle important financial risk management strategies to adopt now as well as future risk management. So we have tonight with us Professor Aman Wirakatakusuma, the Executive Director of IPMI International Business School, And we have our speakers, Professor Roy Sambel, Professor Distinguished Chair for Finance and Investment at IPMI International Business School. We have also Dr. Firdaus Basbeth, the Head of Graduate Study Program and Faculty at IPMI International Business School, and Pak Muhammad Eka Pramudita, CEO of PT Kemenadi Industri Mandiri, and we also have Ingwan Jo, Wholesale Banking, Policy Finance Loan, Derivative Investment Manager at Industrial Bank of Korea, as also IPMI MBA student. And we also have the core faculty IPMI, and we are all happy to have everyone here with us. So before we start, let's welcome Professor Aman to give a welcoming speech. Professor Aman, the screen is yours.
Thank you, Sita. Everyone could hear me clearly?
Yes,
Good evening.
yes, we can.
Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good evening. It's indeed a great pleasure for me to be here again with you. Always happy to see you again. All our MBA students, alumni, faculty members, and audiences to attend this webinar. Thank you very much to the speakers. Happen to be my former student, Mr. Eka Pramudita, and also I think your dad also present in this meeting. The other guest speaker is Mr. Well, actually, he is also our student, Ingwan Jo, is from Korea. All the speaker from IPMI, Roy Sambel, Dr. Firdaus Basbeth, the head of the program study, and of course, Ms. Sita Tiasutami, our beloved moderator tonight. Great to see you all, that you are all in good health and spirit. And I would congratulate the committee, organizing committee, Dr. Firda and Pak Kurniawan, to arrange this program tonight. I always feel grateful and amazed with all your creativity in conducting this type of webinar, where most of the resource person, the speakers or moderator are also our own MBA students. We have to be proud of it because they are truly representing the quality of IPMI MBA programs. The graduate students were admitted through a very long process, including interviews. Therefore, it is a very normal expectation that the MBA student, which equipped with various knowledge and experience background, could adapt and adjust into IPMI method of learning. All students comprehend both the theory and practice when they have to go through learning process, for example, in using the case method. May I quote the IPMI MBA program vision statement? I think Bu Firda is the one now is trying to organize the comprehensive report on MBA programs at IPMI, which saying, to become leading MBA programs in the world with international reputation through development of transformational competence leaders in managing and handling the business. So when trying to see the connection between those statements with the topics being chosen tonight, managing financial risk in business during COVID-19 pandemic, I think this is a very good choice. Very relevant with the current situation. And we are also observing how this pandemic are affecting many of our business, not only in Indonesia, but throughout the world. But thank God, I think after the vaccination programs, we are now observing a better situation. So we are expecting, we are hoping that this pandemic is going to be probably not too long to last in our planet. Back to the topic on the financial risk in conducting business, we do realize the risks always happen everywhere. So the questions whether during the pandemic, after the pandemic, or before the pandemic, whether this risk is getting heavier or getting bigger or becoming less. So I do trust all the speakers, Prof. Roy and Bu Firda, and of course, Mr. Joe and also Mr. Eka is going to share with us in more detail about the subject. But I must underline the importance of risk assessment and management, which are part of the learning subject at IPMI. Since one of the speakers is from food technology, I would say that after health, food business is one of the most resilient business during pandemic. Many innovation emerge in food supply chains. We are also now getting more understand about the principle of circular economy, how to minimize food loss and food waste. What is the importance of food packaging and delivery? What are the potential of local indigenous food? We do hear that functional foods that people use to boost the immune system is also becoming very popular, especially they're coming from the marine resources. Therefore, we do realize that the calculated risk together with your entrepreneurial skills will not only be challenging, but also exciting. All this exposure are being exercised through course materials and case study when you are asked to do case writing, case note, and case reporting, which is truly one of the IPMI's DNA. So I'm promoting IPMI all the time. Finally, to those of you who are not IPMI students and faculties, please share your experience from participating in this webinar with your colleagues, family, and friends. IPMI MBA programs always looking for talented and potential transformational leaders to become our student and partners. Once again, thank you so much to Mr. Eka Pramudita, Mr. Joe, Dr. Firda, and Prof. Roy as the speakers, and to Ms. Sita as the moderator. Please enjoy and have a good webinar. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Prof. Aman. So let's start the webinar with our first speaker, Dr. Firdaus Basbeth. Dr. Firda, the screen is yours.
Thank you very much, Sita. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh for all.
Waalaikumsalam.
Let me share my screen. Okay. All right. Sudah terlihat, Sita?
Yes, now yes, Bu.
Okay. Okay, so aligned with the title is financial risk. Here I want to see it and have an opinion from a different angle, from this perspective, entrepreneur, innovation, and financial risk. Okay, so we'll start with SME contribution to GDP as the machine of Indonesian economics, growth of SME, then contribute to GDP almost now in 2021 is almost 59%, 59%, sorry, and play a significant role, yeah, in empowering Indonesian community. So compared to our surrounding neighbors, Singapore, they have 50% SME contribution to GDP. Malaysia, we have a representative from Malaysia, Prof. K. Good evening. And then Thailand, 37. So it is very obvious that SME play a significant role, 57% to Indonesian GDP. And now take a look on the ratio of entrepreneurs to population. Where are we? Only 1.7% Indonesia, yeah, compared to Malaysia, the ratio of entrepreneur to population 5%, Singapore 7%. In Asia, yeah, even Thailand is 3%. Yes, we have a total population of 250 million, but should not be an excuse, yeah, to have a bigger ratio of entrepreneurs to population. And now, ready for the shocking one, the level of education on the entrepreneur. Look at this, a high school. Most of them are in a high school. They have a high school certificate with the female and male about 50%, 50-50. And yes, younger age at 34 and under now entering the entrepreneur. They are young and millennial, so youth entrepreneurs. Some college and university certificate very small. Yeah, the number is very small. They are not interested, maybe not interested on the entrepreneurship, maybe more on the corporate entrepreneurship or on managing a business in multinational. What about master or PhD? Look at on the right, very right side, almost zero. Yeah, the level of education. Wow, maybe we should have more access. Yes, we plan to have concentration or entrepreneurship for master degree, also to learn how to manage the business, their own business. All right, so speaking about the pandemic's impact to our youth entrepreneur, yeah, there is a research from UNDP and Citicorp Banking. So the respondent is youth entrepreneur among Indonesian, and it found that 79 of youth entrepreneur report the COVID-19 has a negative impact of their business, almost a slight downturn, major downturn, and shut down 21%. And then among them, what are the steps or initiative they have taken to address the impact? They said they still hold their business completely, or some of them are reducing the scale and reducing the amount of workers, yeah, to survive in the pandemic event. And then how is the financial turnover during COVID-19? So 58% of youth entrepreneurs reported decrease in their financial turnover up to 80%, while the 36% report decrease in financial turnover up to 40%. And then they still receive the most good news tonight, maybe 91%. They support each other. And did you know that 84% of young entrepreneurs in Indonesia choose to stay connected with their networking to support each other during the COVID-19 pandemic? So in crisis, peer support matters to times of survive their business. Okay. And so talking about entrepreneur, we also learn in IPMI about the character of entrepreneurs and what they have as an entrepreneur, what the character of entrepreneur that they have for the successful businessmen like in the world, yeah, Mark Zuckerberg or Bill, siapa ini namanya, or Ariana Huffington, and also Jan Kum from WhatsApp. In Indonesia, we heard about Ahmad Zaki, William Tanujaya, the Traveloka boss for Ferry, siapa Unardi, and Pak Menteri was Nadiem Makarim. Yeah. So the first number one emerge is risk taker. They are risk taker and they are very creative, right? Risk taker doesn't mean that without managing, yes, they still very carefully take the risk with calculating the risk for the next step. Okay. So obviously to win in digital age and at the same time to apa namanya to survive in the pandemic situation, then there is a report from McKinsey that the three path emerge, or four pathways to create values. How to do that? So the mapping based on the three, it's product and service. There are also pathways for the business model and for the business process. The first type is the inventors. They are very good on product and service. So look at the number one, inventors. They're very high on that side. And the number two, the pathways, if you want to grouping as disruptors. Disruptors, they are very good in innovating their business models. Yeah. So for example, as we previously showed that a platform like Bukalapak, Ruang Guru, that's a disruption. Gojek, disruptor for the standard business models. And then for Lean Champion, they look at the operational excellence. Yeah, the GE, Walmart, in the west side, and Indonesia, maybe we can take a look at Carrefour and Hypermart on the retail. And then all rounders, they are very excellent in three areas: in product and service, and business process model. Business model and business process. It's very rare, so maybe one in the world that they have companies that innovate access all three dimensions. Is for example is Tesla. So to winning all that either way on the business model and the product and service, or in the business process, there is a journey from the innovation to the commercialization of the product. And the scary thing is in between that, there is a readiness level, and you have technology valley of that, the TVD and the CVD. So between the idea to the business, there is a gap that should be managed. There is a risk that should be managed. Yeah, from products to startup to enterprise. From the science to innovation to enterprise to market. So minds the gap to innovate and also to commercialize our product. Okay. On the consumer side, with this pandemic, they're moving to the selling product on the internet. Yeah. So the top three factor Indonesian consumer consider to shop in an e-commerce site. They're not looking for the website anymore. Yeah, they go to the marketplace, to the social media, to instant messaging. So this condition also have to be part of managing the risk because the easy of access, the secure payment, and trust factor is one of the three factors that they have to look at when if they want to go to open their own business and also to innovate and to go commercialization. So the future cannot be predicted in the VUCA world. It is uncertain, and no one has ever been successful in consistently forecasting. And any financial, stock market, interest rate, exchange rate, or commodity price with major financial implication. The financial risk that arise from uncertainty, however, it can be managed. Yeah, that's why we have now Eka will sharing their experience starting from zero now how to survive and resilient his business. And then also Cho, with the manager of derivatives. Also, we'll talk about from his the banking perspective about how to manage the financial risk. Yeah, and at the end we will listening and from Prof. Roy. So much of what distinguish modern from modern economy from those of the past. Prof. Roy will explain about is the new ability to identify risk. Yeah, to measure it as an entrepreneur, we have to identify, to measure, to appreciate, and then to take action accordingly. Yeah, such a mitigating risk or transferring risk. Okay, talking about the risk management, this is the simple sequence, yet this is rarely run smoothly in practice. Maybe the entrepreneur just go there, just do it, yeah, without calculating the risk. So this is the famous simple sequence. It's from identify risk and then you measure, assess the effect of the exposure, the form a risk or mitigation strategy, and then evaluate. It should be embedded in every entrepreneur mind. Yeah. Sometimes identifying of the risk is still is the skill. So that makes one risk manager stand out from another. So we also have financial corporate finance taught by Prof. Roy and Ibu Wiwi. They will also talk about the risk management and the use of statistical economics. Yeah, that make risk management sounds pretty technical, but risk management is simply doing more formally that what we all do when we ask ourselves in our personal lives. So how bad with the reason might the problem get? Yeah, the statistical model that you will learn and Sita learn, also in Kwancho learn in IPMI MBA can also help to eliminate the or mitigate risk. So okay, so risk management that we will discuss about is really about how firm actively select the type of level and the risk. Eka will share about it. In that sense, risk management and risk taking as an entrepreneur is a two sides of the same coin. As an entrepreneur, you are a risk taker, and also you have to have a sense of risk management. Yeah. So together they drive all modern economics. So the capacity to make forward-looking choices about risk lies in the heart of management process of all enduringly successful corporation. That's it from me. So thank you very much. We look forward for having you in IPMI MBA program. Yeah. Thank you. Got back to you, Sita.
Okay, thank you, Bu Firda, for the presentation. So I'm just going to quickly summarize a bit of Bu Firda's presentation. So SMEs play a significant role to the Indonesian GDP in comparison to our neighboring countries. And like in many businesses, the pandemic negatively impacted young entrepreneurs. And the key in winning in a digital age is we have to be creative and innovative to invent new product and services and disrupt the traditional markets with operational excellence using digital technologies and innovating across all dimensions. And risk management is really about how firms actively select the type of level and risk. And the simple is identify, measure, assess, mitigate strategy, and lastly, evaluate. Thank you once again, Bu Firda. Now we move on to our second speaker, Pak Eka Pramudita. The screen is yours.
Okay, thank you, Sita, for the time. So, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So, hello everyone. So today I would like to maybe share my experience in my company during this during this pandemic. So let's start. Wait for this. Okay. Has everyone see the screen? Not yet, right?
Not yet, Pak.
Not yet. Okay. Yeah. So basically, today maybe I will share my experience in this kind of situation in this pandemic. So this is also prepared by my brother also, Mas Arif, who is the leader of the CEO of my company. So actually, Kubernetes itself. So before we go to the topic, I would like to introduce my company first. So this is my company. So my company is focused in the collaboration and create and develop products and distribute the quality and the food and drink. Because my background is a food science. So yeah, so I make a food company. So we have three core business right now. So we have the Kubernetes coffee. So I'm starting with a coffee shop, and then we have also the co-working space in Bogor. That's really interesting in this pandemic because most of the members they are working in the in the lot of kind of the industrial, and also we have a food lab. So so we beginning started in 2013. So when I was a student college sorry, I was a student in the IPB at the time. So we started from the coffee because at the time coffee was the hype, and I was seeing the coffee it's one of the industry that could really grow. So it also can help me to grow my company also. So we start from the coffee, but from beginning we already our vision is not just make a coffee shop. So at 2016, after I start from the roastery, I make a coffee shop with the co-working space. Hopefully I can see a lot of the member. I also maybe can grow a lot of the SME industry in Bogor because at the time, my colleagues and my friends, most of them they won't have the business by itself, so they don't want to work in the company. So most of them like to try to have his own business, small business. So that's the reason why I try to combine the coffee shop and co-working space. In 2016 also, we focus on supporting and collaborate with the farmer in coffee. At the time, now we not only coffee, we have a lot of kind of product also, but still in the food area. 2018, we have after my father retired from his company, so pension from his company. So we founded food technology center. We call it Type of Food. We focus on the make a food for the better for the future. Also, we try to focus on also from the green food operation itself. So we try to make it as healthy as possible, as natural as possible also. So this is the thing nowadays in 2000, everyone doesn't prepare 2020, but they were pandemic, and this is what we learned from the pandemic. So what happened in 2020? We know that COVID-19 strike, the pandemic is strike. Most of people losing a job, also losing the cash. Most of my friend in my campus at the time, they're losing cash also. It's also the high risk situation for the SME because you know that not of the not of the company, small company have a good cash reserve, and also they know all of them actually have a good cash flow also. So and then uncertain market condition at this time. So today I will be focused maybe in the food company in the food area because I really focus on that area. And because the vaccine, we estimated it will be end in 2021, hopefully. So how we handle it? So how we survive at this time? So we know that financial risk is the activity to monitoring financial risk and managing the impact. So because my background is actually food, my brother is actually industrial, so we try the simplest one. So we're using the basic approach, like we know that there were three basic approach in the financial risk management, like awareness, measurement, adjustment. Like if we break down, the awareness is the risk that are unknown, like this pandemic. Nobody know that, and nobody prepared with this pandemic. to be happen and how long this pandemic will go. Most of my friends now, my friend are losing their. A lot of them is also close with his company because yeah, because they don't prepare for this pandemic. But we know that also that we will risk, but we know that not measurable like and also we know that the risks that are known and measurable. And measurement that has the model risk like order sorry the order like measuring the impact, allowing decision to make the sources of the action. Also, we use the adjustment like changing the nature, probability, or effective of the risk. This included behavior change, assurance, operating hedging, and threshold. So what we do right now? So we try three things that we do so far. This I don't know. This is maybe not the best solution at this time, but in this particular problem. But so far, it was the most easy to how we handle it. The first one is agile and adapt. Second one is to focus on the future, but also not the past. And the third one is to create a better scenario for your cash flow because at the end for the SME, cash flow is one of the things. And now that my friend also a lot of them is have a problem with the cash flow. So what do you do? So agile and adapt. So we know that the business, small and the medium business, me also are have to adjust the movement, adapting the situation. Like most of my so for my coffee shop at this time. So one of the things that we do the first time is we cutting the product that they are not selling well or not they are not start of sell my product. So we cutting all the product. Also we try to expand the shelf life also. So we do research of the how to create the product it have uh, and then what like like the simple way like ask yourself like what else can we do with this? This is that the impact and the basis on your business and like can we quick scale a market to access the opportunity and etc. So the best way for me is the agile and also the adapt the business itself. And the second one for the SME business because we know that we are agile and also easy to adapt. We are on focus on the future, not the past. So yeah, we know that many also have also we lost a lot of money last year, but how we handle it. So and how we handle it. So what we're looking for the future. What kind of business is really good for the future? We also like forecast like if we do we need to do something like changing a little bit like what kind of product will be can do in next year, etc. So so the easy example, like what is our cash flow going for the next month? How like maybe reduce the employee, or maybe we focus on the how to survive or how to pay the rent, and also how do you have a cash reserve that I thought before, and also the what's going to revenue is going to be. So we need to do on that. The third one, what we done so far is to create a better scenario for the cash flow because we know that the cash flow is the key. When we don't have a cash flow, the company should be collapsed really soon. And SME is we know that it's really sensitive on this thing. So when a high risk situation like COVID, this stability cash could be the bridge or the gap between the saying open or closing the door for the doors for good. So what we done, like I mentioned before, we have to focus on the future, get the better scenario, the cash flow like decreasing, expand, or maybe reduce the employee, or maybe like cut some of the store like us. We last year we have a 4 store. Like last year we have a 4 store. We already closed down 2 stores. Do the because we want to make it really good cash flow. So we focus on the how to survive this business, and then we go to the future. So maybe this is my because my humble station. Like what's my conclusion? Like yeah, this coffee situation is people looking cash, job, etc. So my basic approach is awareness, discernment, also adjustment. for us, is the best way to understand your company behavior because how your customer situation, business situation, opportunity, and outlook is to adjust to adapt, focus on the future, not the past, and the credibility scenario for cash flow. I think that's all my presentation because it's my first time to talk about financial risk. Yeah, because my background is actually full time, but yeah, this is I would like to share my experience about my company and what the situation in my friend. Yeah, I hopefully it's so helpful. So thank you very much. That's it.
Thank you, Paika.
Yep.
Okay, so just to summarize a bit, to survive the market uncertainty due to the pandemic, we can do the financial risk management with basic approach, which are awareness, measurement, and adjustment. And we also have to be agile and adapt, focus on the future and not the past, and create a better scenario for our cash flow, right, Paika?
Yep, right.
Okay, so the third speaker is Ingwan Cho.
Yes.
Yes, with my classmate. The screen is yours, Joe.
Okay, screen is mine then.
Yes, it is.
Okay,
Go ahead.
thank you. Okay, let me introduce myself again. One moment. Okay, bigger, that's better. Okay, my name is Ingwan Cho. I'm Korean from South, not North. So let me introduce myself briefly. I've been working for Industrial Bank of Korea for 13 years since 2008. Before that, when I was a senior, I realized that I had to join the army to protect my country against, I don't know, North Korea, I don't know, but I joined the army, but I have served my military service in the US Army in the financial unit. So today, from my 15 years of financial unit, I'd like to talk about how to build a good relationship with a bank. Before doing that, I'd like to advertise my bank briefly, just shortly. So IBK stands for Industrial Bank of Korea. It's a government-owned special purpose bank established in August 1961 in accordance with the Small and Medium-Sized Enterprise Act. So you can just think this is the largest Korean bank, the governmental bank. It's not only state-owned bank, but we are established on special act. And under this mandate, IBK enacted leadership in SME finance, and we are the leading bank in SME loan, the market share. So when it comes to credit ratings, it's AA level. It means as high as Korean government is higher than any other commercial banks in Korea, like Hana Bank, and Wari Seoul Bank, and Shinhan Bank. We are higher than that. And when it comes to let's say just asset, I don't really like the numbers. Park Row is hearing that, but I don't really like the numbers, by the way. But so total asset is $300 billion. It's quite a lot. So you can think it's like 4 times as big as Bank Mandiri. So we started our banking business in Indonesia. So this is our slogan, IBK Indonesia Bank, Indonesia's #1 SME finance leading bank. We acquired 2 Indonesian banks in Indonesia, Bank Agris and Bank Mitra Niaga. Then we merged it, we established our own bank, and we started our banking business in 2019, September. So this is a composition of ownership of IBK Indonesia Bank. And this is our capital. And we have, so far, we have 38 branches. We have a plan to expand it, hopefully this year until 60 branches. This is the composition of commissioners. So with further ado, I'd like to talk about how to build a good relationship with a bank. So first, from my experience, I also used to work in the branch. When I was in the branch, today's tip might be a bit general and abstract, but hopefully it can be useful for you. When I was in the bank, I could see so many SME entrepreneurs knock the door on the bank and find a manager in the loan section, in a hurry, and have a sip and ask the bankers, I need the money. If you help me, I can succeed. Please help me, I need cash. But think about it. Before asking for money, you need to think about why do you need money first, because it can affect your financial status. So in short-term view, you may, digest your thirst about money, but in the long term, it can affect your financial report. For example, there are 3 types of banking loan in big concept. First, working capital loan, and facility fund loan, and foreign exchange loan. For example, you are printing company, you are printing something, and you are making profit, but all of a sudden you need money to buy some machine. And think about this machine is your fixed asset in your financial report, right? In this sense, it's not working capital loan. Don't ask for bank to process a working capital loan. This is facility fund loan, because in case of working capital loan, normally the maturity is 1 year. You need to extend your loan every year. You need to berkunjung ke cabang, harus memperpanjangnya. Itu lepot-lepot. So lebih baik, you need to find the right loan for right purpose. So this is facility fund loan. Normally, you can have 3 years of maturity, and it can be bookkept in your financial report as what? Non-current liabilities, not current liabilities, because it's more than a year. The second one, if you want to import something, let's say from Korea, you want to import some Korean cosmetics and you want to sell it in Indonesia. There is another one, foreign exchange loan. So have you ever heard about LC, letter of credit? If you ask for a bank, but the bank should be good bank, have a lot of correspondent bank in the world to open your LC to other countries which you want to import from. Then you can import it, you can sell it first, you can make a profit, you can pay back later. The reason why I'm telling you this, in the bank, the limit of each this working capital loan and facility fund loan and foreign exchange loan is different. If you keep asking for cash working capital loan, you may you cannot get a loan anymore. So find a loan for the right purpose. It can be good for your financial report too. Second tip, choose the right bank, please, because you know what, the loyalty of a client mean a lot to us. It can be good reason for us to process a loan. For example, we want you to do banking business exclusively in a bank. For example, you have used credit card of bank BCA. Then all of a sudden you visit BRI to process a loan. Then it's not going to be effective. So anyway, you need a bank. If you are small and medium-sized entrepreneurs, no matter how much asset you have, bank is essential partner for you. So bank wants to be loyal customer to us, because actually there's an indicator inside the bank how loyal customer means to us. So today I want you to put your position in the bank, because you know what, bankers also we are kind of employees. So we also evaluated by sales record. When you process a loan, we think about responsibility. If the client is loyalty to us, it's okay. We can process a loan easily. So please choose your bank wisely and use the bank exclusively in case of changing it too. So for example, you may wish the bank you have a loan may go bankrupt, then you don't have to pay back, right? But actually not. It's going to be collected by other bank, acquire the bank. So you'd better choose stable bank, good bank, because at least you have a chance to extend your loan. And the second one is, please choose a bank branch that's nearby your office, not your home base. Let's say, oh, I have a friend, oh, BCA. I want to have a deal with his branch. What if he transfer to other branch, other cabang? Then it doesn't make sense, because the location can be a great reason for the bank to process a loan. So find a good branch of a bank in your location of your company. It can be also a good reason for the bank to process a loan. So third one, financial report. It is very important to, I think, to your business too, but also to the bank too. Talk with the papers. I have seen so many businessmen buru-buru and just try to convince the bankers, but at least bring some contract, sales contract, like if you help me, I can succeed. Please talk based on the paper, because once again, banker also needs to take responsibility for the loan. So if we have the papers, bunch of papers, we can be free from that. So you need to be ready for the papers too. And financial report is also very important. And because when we process a loan, there's the level of loan determination in the bank. So we also need to convince upper level. So first, need to convince the manager of the bank, the branch. Then there's also a limit of a loan for the bank manager. So make the banker in your side. Then they can be working for you. And once again, please take care of your financial report. I have seen one of the businessmen, he was afraid of bookkeeping their sales and revenues because maybe to evade taxes, I don't know. But you need to show you are growing up. So don't minimize your sales and revenues, especially at the end of the year. That's the time when the financial report is bookkept. Please take care of your sales and revenue record at the end of the year. Then it can be a good excuse for us to keep processing a loan to you too. So please talk with the paper. It can be my third tips. And finally, once again, we are also employees. We are also evaluated based on so many indicators, so-called KPI. So we may ask you for something like, oh, please, sir, why don't you let your employees open the bank of Ibeka, or let them use credit card, insurance, pension plan. Let me tell you, there's some cases like, we made some mistakes, I know, in 2009 or something, but normally the items we sell it's not that harmful for you. And anyway, you need it. So if you respond to the bank's proposals, it's also, you can take something because there is an indicator, it's a top confidential stuff, but we also measure customer contribution. Once again, like a loyalty of the customers. Also, if you have used like a credit card or Betja, and Betja can, be more favorable when the processor loan to you. So not only the relationship of bank, but also always all the relationships about give and take, right? So also, yeah, I want to suggest something like always there is a propose, and if you respond just a bit, then the relationship can be smoother. Okay, it's quite short presentation. Thanks for listening. Thanks for attending today's session. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Joe. So thank you so much for giving us the tips and tricks to have a good relationship with the bank. Yeah, that's very, very important. So IBK is looking at Indonesia as a potential SME market to fund. And the tips from Mr. Ing Wan Jo here is to first find a loan for the right purpose, choose a bank branch that's nearby your office, and the financial report, as well as the give and take. Thank you once again. Last but not least, we have Prof. Roy Sambel as the last speaker, but as he has a sudden shooting tonight, we will play the recording of his presentation. Maskur, yes, thank you.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Yes, it is evening, but I always greet you with good morning at IPMI International Business School. My name is Roy Sambel. I'm a professor at IPMI International Business School. Yeah. Okay, this is my short CV. Part of my life is in academia. Part of my life, the other part is in the business practitioner. Okay. These are some of my books. And then if you want to contact me, you can use the email roy.sambel@ipmi.ac.id or the social media. Okay, now let's start with the agenda for today. For about next 10 minutes, I will do this. Context of the financial risk management, the why. Okay, as we know that we are experiencing the digital disruption and other volatility in the global world, yeah, including the trade war that was starting in 2-3 years ago, yeah. And then came the COVID-19 crisis during the 2020. It makes life much heavier, yeah, burden. So we are in the era of VUCA. VUCA is volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. Yeah. Okay. And then these are the challenges of the boardroom, yeah, the BOD and BOC. And some of them include the risk management and governance and risk management, basically, right? Okay. And then long time ago, risk management is the part of the backroom, and now it's part of the boardroom. Yeah. And then these are the reason why the risk management is getting the increasing importance nowadays. Yeah. And then now we move to the second part, that is the concept of the financial risk management, the what and the how. Yeah. Okay, risk. Talking about risk, there can be two things. That is something that is menyenangkan or something that is dangerous or combination. But most people, when they mention about risk, then in the mind there is a word of fear or takut, and then uncertainty, ketidakpastian, kerugian, loss, and volatility. Yeah, that's why there is a what risky business that stand for the random incidents sometimes kill your business. Yeah. Okay, now that's why you need to guard against there is someone need to guard against the risk. Yeah. Okay, so all is about the trade-off between risk and return. High risk, high return, low risk, low return. Okay. Now, what is the definition of risk? There are plenty of definition of risk, but I like this simple definition of risk. Risk, any issue which could impact your company ability to meet the objective. Yeah. And then how to manage risk? Well, there are some philosophy toward it. Some people just want to ignore because they said it's beyond our control. Of course, that's wrong. Yeah. And then the other try to completely avoid the risky stuff. That cannot be done. The correct one should be the risk management. Yeah. And then why manage risk? To avoid taking unnecessary risk. There's a necessary risk, that is your core business risk, and unnecessary risk. Yeah? Even among the necessary risks, you cannot take the excessive risk. That's dangerous. Yeah? And then avoid cost of financial distress. Yeah? And then reduce the expected tax because of the, if your tax is very volatile, then that can be danger for you. Yeah. And then focus on competitive advantage, yeah, so that you can manage the core risks and then try to eliminate or reduce the other risks, yeah, so that you can put your effort, concentrate on your core business, yeah, the big bang for the buck, yeah, and then it will lead you to sustainable profit. There are several category of risk, for example, financial risk, operational risk, and other risks. Yeah, in the financial risk, there are many different definition of financial risk include, for example, market risk, liquidity risk, credit risk, and then part of the operational risk, for example, the cash management. Yeah, so it can be also the counterparty risk, and then sometimes it's about the all the market risk, credit risk, operational risk, liquidity risk. Right? Okay, so someone say the risk management is trying to eliminate it. That's not true, because profit are the reward of successful risk taking. If you can concentrate of your core business risk and you can create value out of that, that will be good. Because overly cautious also will miss opportunities. Risk can be downside risk, but also upside opportunity. Yeah, and you have to put yourself into the integrated approach. Otherwise, this is the result of the partial approach. Yeah, both part already finish their job, but it is not connected. Ya, jaka sambung makan permen kagak nyambung, men. Ya. Yeah, the integrated risk management, sometimes called the enterprise risk management. This is the definition. It's long definition. Basically, it is a process affected by people, applied in the strategy setting, applied across the enterprise, and designed to identify potential risk event and manage within the risk appetite. Yeah, not eliminating the risk. And if you do this, it is able to provide reasonable assurance. There is no 100% assurance, but reasonable assurance. Yeah. Okay, and the traditional risk management, the scope is narrow, pure risk, yeah, tangible asset mostly. And the enterprise risk management, enterprise right, pure and speculative. Speculative can create profit, yeah, tangible as well intangible. Strategy can be primary insurance solution and it's comprehensive, including the protection and then value creation. The focus is the manage the downside risk, yeah, lack of the total risk portfolio. That's different from the enterprise risk management. This is the nature of risk assessment. This is the flow chart starting from the identify risk and then question whether it is it needs to be handled or not. Or if it's too small, maybe you let it go, yeah. And then assess the quantitative and qualitative impact, and then after that you develop the risk response strategy and incorporate risk response strategy into the processes, yeah. And then these are the risk analysis. You can do the risk assessment, part of this flow chart actually, yeah. And then risk management, and then you monitor. So it doesn't mean that you have to eliminate all risk. After you control the activities, then the inherent risk will be reduced, and then the rest is the residual risk. There is still some residual risk, but as long as it is within your risk appetite and you can create value creation out of risk, that should be okay, yeah. Okay, so this is part of the comprehensive management that is using the wisdom, WISDOM, wisdom for risk management. W stands from where you are right now. I from intention, where you want to go, and then from W to I, you create the strategy, that is the plan, and then in order to execute the strategy, you need to develop your company and your people, and you use omnipotent, all the potential, work smart, work hard, and then teamwork. Yeah. And then after you execute, of course, you have to measure and you monitor, and then there's a risk respond to feedback. You manage the strategy for risk management dynamically. Yeah. So then we need to measure. Well, if you have a normal eyes, it looks like the left boy will be small and the right boy will be a giant. Yeah. Actually, they are copy paste. They should be triplets. Yeah. But because of our perception was distorted by the background. Yeah. So be careful. Okay. So you need to measure. Now, how do you price financial risk? Well, basically high risk, high return, low risk, low return, and no risk doesn't mean no return, yeah, meaning risk-free return. There are several theories for pricing the financial risk. For example, in the capital market, we have the capital asset pricing model. That is developed by William Sharpe, the Nobel laureate in economics in 1990. And then later on developed further by Stephen Ross, that the arbitrage pricing theory, and later on by the three-factor model of the Fama French and four-factor model Carhan, and then the recent development. And you can also measure the financial risk using the credit rating, the scoring, yeah, and then country risk rating for overall country. And then recently, because of the development of the digital analytic, including the big data analytic, we can also use that to measure the risk. Yeah. Okay. So these are the tools. There are traditional tools. For example, a simple matching back-to-back transaction. Yeah. For example, for Forex, you find first the customer and you find the supplier and you create contract at the same time. So that's the back-to-back transaction. Or you can pass it to a customer, depend on the strength of your customer, or you can maintain a large capital reserve to absorb the potential downfall, and you can do the diversification of your business. And then you practice the defensive financial management, or you can use the new innovative instrument, for example, the derivative option, future swap, and so on, future forward and swap. These are the way to do the defensive financial management. Defensive capital structure, defensive working capital management, defensive asset structure, defensive revenue management, and defensive cost management, defensive cash flow management, growth management, of course, the risk management. Yeah, these are the way to do that. And then when you want to survive this current COVID situation, and the easy way, the important way, the urgent way is to stop the bleeding first. Yeah, and then after that, find ways to generate more revenue. That is temporary pivoting, and you can do the financial restructuring by negotiating with all the creditors, and then overall try to realign your strategy, redefining your core business if your core business is already not very relevant, or during this digital disruption, you need to find new ways for doing business. For example, in the education, before it is a physical classroom, now almost 100% it is an online classroom, right? Yeah. And don't forget to do the risk management that will consist of the risk governance framework, and then the risk management process, and then also the infrastructure, including all the organization or the box that will include some risk management infrastructure, for example, the committee and the risk director, etc., and the quality of the person that's inside that box. Okay, now we have finished the context and concept. Now the takeaways. The takeaways is simple. Yes, we are facing very difficult situation, but depend on our mindset. If you think you can do it or you think you cannot do it, you are both right. If you think you cannot do it, then your brain stops working and no solution. But if you think you can do it, even though not directly find a solution, using the hard work, smart work, and then hard work, teamwork, and sometime in the future you may find the workable solution. May not be ideal, but still workable. And then last but not least, this is my standard closing. That is the best 8 H's message. That is, be hopeful and helpful. A lot of opportunity, and we help each other. Empower heart, head, and end. Kerja sepenuh hati, kerja cerdas, kerja keras, dan bergandengan tangan. Teamwork, Stay hungry, try to find always opportunity for improvement, and then happy, enjoy the process, and thrive holistically. And this is, you cannot do it only from the finance side or the marketing side, but the overall holistic, and include also all your partner in your business ecosystem. All right, that is from me. And then I close with the pantun. Pantunnya bilang begini. Kalau Anda jalan-jalan ke Tasikmalaya, jangan lupa enjoy sambal dan ngambil oncom. Kalau masih ada yang ingin ditanya, jangan lupa kirim email ke roy.sambel@gmail.com. And then the closing, sari jus pepaya buah alpukat besar. Mari terus berkarya, tambah semangat dan sehat. Makan siri di tepi perigi. Terima kasih, sampai jumpa lagi. Sorry, I cannot accompany you because I have to be in other places. Hopefully you can enjoy the webinar. And then good luck with your future career in the risk management. And stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy, everyone. All right, see you. Bye.
Okay, everyone, that was the recording of Prof. Roy's presentation. So the wisdom for risk management is to know our SWOT, to have smarter goal, grand strategy, and capacity building. And we have to always work smart and hard, as well as monitor implementation and respond to feedback. And always remember that high risk means high returns, while low risk means low return. Now, before we move on to the Q&A session, let's have a photo session first for all participants. Can I have everyone to turn on their video, please? Yes. Who's taking the picture? Maskur? Okay. Smile, everyone. It's going to be a few photos as we are 80 participants. Sudah, Maskur? Ya, udah? Oke.
Done.
Done. Thank
Done.
you. So now we move on to the Q&A session. For those of you who have any questions, please type in the chat box. We have time for, I think, three questions right now. No question from the participants. From the 79 participants, no questions. Okay, maybe I'll ask Joe. So how can we how can we make sure that the bank will give us a loan? Like, what's the syarat, the characteristics? What's a must?
Drink soju with them. I'm kidding. All right. So,
I will do that.
yeah, you can do that. I know that. You know what? It's all about convincing, right? So
Yeah.
you need to convince, or once again, you need to talk with the paper, just not, you know what, talking with you're just bringing up some mind things. So at least, you know what, it's okay to just one side sales contract. You need to convince, like, if bank help me, I can succeed, I can grow up. Then next year, anyway, you need to extend your loan. Then it's time for you to prove that you have grown up. So it's a very simple equation. If bank invests you, you need to grow up. So you also have a responsibility to grow up. Bank also have a responsibility to, you know what, trust you. So it's all about give and take relationship. That's my opinion. Thank you.
Okay. So if I want to start my family business, I call you, yeah, Joe.
I didn't apply to use Ibeka, but yeah, feel free to visit. Thank you.
Okay. Any questions from the participants for any of our okay, we have a question from Stafia.
Yeah, sorry, my
talk directly. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I want to type directly because it's quite long. And again, it's for Joe. I think it's related with the previous question that being asked by Sita. Okay, before you can call me Dexter. So my question is, for some people, sometimes they do stupid mistakes in the past regarding their financial, right? And then sometimes that record is still recorded somehow, even though it's already done. So how can you convince your future bank that saying that that's just my stupidity in the past and it won't happen again in the future because I have different income, I have different priorities, things like that. I just curious because I've had some, I work as a HR, I had a lot of my employees have this kind of difficulties when they want to have loan, and it's actually having become problems to me because they ask loan to me, which I can't. So yeah, can you maybe elaborate that part? Thank you, Joe.
Okay, thank you so much. It's such a great question. Yeah, I got your point. When you just start your business, you don't have any financial report or any papers, right? In that case, I recommend you to count on some governmental loan plan. Also, there are some banks to deal with. Sorry, I've never worked in the branch of Indonesia, but in Korea, for example, there's like a policy loan. Try to find some policy loan. There must be some loan for new startups. Then if you bookkeep the financial statement, you can bring it to the bank next year. And that's my number one suggestion. And second, I know, you know what, businessmen always in need for money. I know that. To convince bankers, why don't you come to my office or my company? It can be also good to convince them. Then we also sometimes keep the record of some visiting record. It can be, you know what, some excuse for us to exemption from the loan confidentially. So, you know, it's all about relationship once again. If you make them to visit your place, it can be more convincing, I believe. So it's my answers. Thank you. Thank you for the questions. Very good questions. Thank you.
And it actually works if you ask them to come. I mean, whether it's rhetorical or it's really works. I never tried that part. It works.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
We'd like to go on a business trip, by the way.
Okay, thank you, Joe.
Okay, thank you for the question. We have a question now from Yan Indrayana to Pak Eka. as we know that the pandemic impacted the business, referring to Reid Hoffman book's Blitzscaling, stated that if you want the business to grow faster in uncertainty time like this situation, you must not just only agile adaptability, but you must prioritize speed of your business over efficiency and navigating the risk and responding to market change. So can that strategy be implemented on your business, Pak Eka?
So far, yes. So yang kita lakukan ya sekarang ini kebanyakan memang kita banyak reducing hal-hal yang kita lihat yang kira-kira bisa di-reduce lah. Kayak misalnya kan ada, ya we know that we have fixed cost, also ada kita juga punya yang apa yang ya jadi kita bagaimana caranya kita bisa mengurangi yang berat-beratnya dulu kayak fixed cost-nya dulu. Tapi in some case ya di different industrial ya kayak di coworking kita kebanyakan kan memang creative industry. Menariknya memang mereka kayaknya sekarang yang paling sulit sih sebenarnya. Jadi emang yang pertama yang they have bisnisnya yang kayak desain dan lain-lainnya, terutama yang kayak gitu mereka agak kesulitan sih sekarang karena memang kendalanya adalah people try to apa ya gimana ya kalau dipakai tetap pasti bisa, cuma mereka pengen kalau bisa sendiri mereka akan coba sendiri dulu gitu. Karena mereka kan actually kan depends dari project-project itu lah, small project gitu. Tapi untuk food business especially hal tersebut masih bisa sih. Tapi emang kalau growth memang for us kita sih hold the growth dulu sih sebenarnya sekarang. Jadi kita growth di dalam artian open outlet ya. Memang kita kan for the last 4 years kita tuh for the coffee shop we are focused how to open lot of coffee shop lah. Tapi at this time we see that how to survive and how to minimize ini dulu sih emang apa hal-hal yang kayak sebenarnya kan yang paling berat especially di Indonesia ya memang tren itu jadi faktor paling berat di industri kita saat ini. Jadi emang ketika landlord karena even in the pandemic most of landlord ya mereka nggak kasih diskon yang besar juga. Jadi memang yang paling gampang emang ya hold the greedy dulu, fokus pada bagaimana caranya biar bisnisnya selamat dulu. Kayak gitu sih dari
Oke, cukup clear Pak Yan untuk penjelasannya. Is there any other questions?
I have a questions. May I have my turn?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes, my name is Rico. I also MBA student of IPMI. Okay, my question is to Pak Eka. Okay, I don't know whether you feel comfortable in terms of my questions because basically I want to ask your opinion about your business. Okay, because do you think your business have a big entry barrier or low entry barrier? That is the first question. And the second question is, do you think innovation compared to competition, which one is more higher value? Thank you.
Oke, thank you. Gimana? Langsung dijawab atau gimana?
Silakan langsung dijawab.
Jadi kalau kita for innovation ya, karena emang is actual, especially di food kan emang secara bisnis kita bisa lebih agile ya, misalnya ya dalam artian karena kita kan emang nggak fokus in coffee, nggak cuma di coffee industry, jadi memang kalau dari pengalaman kita saat ini memang kalau dari industri pangan secara general mereka lebih bisa mengikuti ininya lah, jadi memang masih possible lah. Jadi kayak mereka tinggal kayak misalnya most of the teman-teman saya terutama mereka kalau yang restoran kebanyakan mereka cutting produk-produk yang dilihat nggak pentingnya dulu, terus mereka juga cukup berusaha untuk bersama supplier lah, nego-nego sama supplier gimana caranya memang mereka untuk cut di produknya biar lebih murah, sama bagaimana si produknya juga safety lebih tinggi. Karena kan terutama kan di food F&B business ya, the problem paling terbesar itu kan selain tren karyawan, sebenarnya food waste. Food waste ini memang sekarang jadi isu lah, udah dari saya kuliah. It's also the issue that food waste itu di restoran tuh besar banget. Jadi memang minimize food waste is the key for the food industry lah pada saat ini. Tapi kalau untuk kita, especially karena we are in coffee shop business ya, yang sekarang yang paling besarnya yang kita. Kalau di kita sih so far we do online sih kebanyakan. Jadi emang kita ngeliat yang emang karena emang coffee ini have a good shelf life and also ya apa di Indonesia juga lagi booming, everyone want to drink coffee. Jadi emang yang kita lakukan ya kita expand marketnya lewat online sekarang kayak Tokopedia, Bukalapak dan teman-teman. Tapi especially Tokopedia sama Shopee lah di Indonesia at this time. Kayak gitu. Coba menjawab?
Okay, first question has been answered whether your kind of business is a low entry barrier or high entry barrier.
Low entry barrier.
Okay. I think my question is enough. Probably other audience would like to ask another questions. Thank you.
Okay. Do we have time for another question? Pak Kur, I think we have, just one more from Pak Yan. What is the critical point in coffee industry to Pak Eka?
Yeah.
What is the critical point in coffee industry? A second question from Pak Yan, and this will be our last question.
So at this pandemic, actually there were a lot of coffee shop open in everywhere. In my town, also in everywhere. So for us, is how to differentiate our product with other coffee shop. So like what we do, like we change the design to make it more appealing to the people. Also, we make some interesting coffee, like because basically I'm the food science student, so like we do like a special process fermentation for our coffee, so make a differentiate with the others. So that's what we do. But it's quite tough, this time, because in the pandemic, most of the people from other sector, so they think that the business of the food F&B business is doesn't impact, so they try to make coffee shop, and because coffee shop is they think it's easy, because it's actually coffee shop have an easy learning curve. If you only want to make coffee shop or a regular coffee shop, it's really easy to learn the curve how to make a coffee shop. So.
Okay, thank you, Pak Eka. Is that clear, Pak Yan?
Clear. Thank you.
So actually, there's one last question from Pak Firdaus Sembiring to myself about the business I would like to run. So I will just briefly explain it. My family and I have been working in the performing arts industry our whole life, basically, and we are now into organic farming as well and waste management. So we are very lucky to have a land in Depok where we plan to integrate everything: performing arts, organic farming, and waste management. And in performing arts, we are doing everything from contemporary, modern, music, dance, but our basic is classical Javanese dance. And we plan to do artist residency and everything integrating arts and healthy lifestyle, holistic, it's everything holistic, meditative arts and healthy food, growing our own produce and all of that. So if you're interested, I will put the Instagram of the brands as well in the chat so everyone can take a look. So it's time to end the session. Don't forget, Maskur, maybe you want to share screen of the IPMI MBA program. So thank you so much, everyone, for being here tonight with us. Thank you, Prof. Aman. Thank you to all speakers, Bu Firda, Pak Eka, Joe, and also Prof. Roy, even though he cannot be here with us tonight. Maskur, is it working, the screen share? Okay, maybe there's technical issues. So don't forget, to all of you who are not enrolled yet in IPMI International Business School, to join us at IPMI for the non-test enrollment for MBA program class of September 2021 and get 15% off for early bird. Maybe from Pak Aman, you want to close it? From Prof. Aman? Maybe Bu Firda?
Pak Prof. Aman mungkin. Prof. Aman? If not, then just want to say thank you. I would like to see more young entrepreneurs learn about entrepreneur and corporate finance and risk, and let's make Indonesia a better place to live. Yeah, it's our nation, the one and only, and don't forget to enroll in IPMI MBA. Okay, thank you very much. Have a good evening.
Have a good evening, everyone.
Goodbye.
Stay safe and healthy.
Goodbye.
Thank you.